Income inequality in the United States continues to surge. A study published by the Economic Policy Institute found income inequality across America grew fastest between 2009 and 2015, the latest year with the data recorded by the IRS. RT's Sara Montes has more.
The rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. At least that's the case across America today. The Economic Policy Institute found that rising inequality is not just a problem in major cities, but a trend that has been rising for decades across all 50 states. America hasn't seen this level of income inequality since 1928, just after World War I, following the Great Depression when income for both the lower and upper class grew at the same pace. The study examined the income of families across the U.S. affecting both the middle and lower classes. The top 5 worst states when it comes to income inequality were New York at number 1, followed by Florida, Connecticut, Nevada, and Wyoming. This means the 1% have exceeded 1928's 23.9% share of income. This also means the top 1% of families took home an average of 26.3 times as much income as the bottom 99%, which increased from 25.3 in 2013. To be in the 1% nationally in 2015, a family needed to make an income of just over $400,000 before tax. And according to the study, 9 states have income inequality gaps wider than the national gap. Labor economist at the Keystone Research Center who co-authored the study, Mark Price, said the top 1% is capturing a bigger and bigger share of income. That raises questions where voice is often determined by access to money. Our concern is that a healthier economy is one where incomes are growing much faster at the bottom than they are. And with President Trump's recent tax cut bill, giving breaks to all Americans may not be enough to close the ever-increasing wealth inequality between the rich and the poor. Inequality has reached new levels of absurdity. There are some towns in the city of Miami where the rich are being ousted by the even wealthier, where changes in poverty levels in Golden Beach, Indian Creek, and Miami-Dade are being gentrified even further, most notably in property values. In the 1920s, half of the population lived in rural areas across the U.S., and while that trend has shifted with people flocking to metropolitan areas, we remain far from bridging the gap with stagnant wages and lackluster legislation. In Washington, Sara Montes, RT.
Let's talk about it with our political panel, conservative commentator Steve Malzberg and Robert Patillo, a civil rights lawyer and talk radio host. Gentlemen, welcome.
Good to be here.
Steve and Robert, in that order, are we entering a so-called new gilded age, or is this pre-election happy talk?
I think it's the kind of talk that people don't pay attention to. I don't think that we're in a competition. I don't think people care if the rich are making more than them or, they're losing ground to the 1%. I think they care how they are doing and maybe how their neighbor is doing. And by all indications, they're doing quite well, and they're doing better and better. Consumer confidence levels are way, way up. Unemployment on all demographics is way, way down. Food stamps, way, way down. Welfare, way, way down. I mean, every economic indicator is positive. And so I think that's what people judge the economy on. That's how they judge how they are doing and how their economic state and well-being is. Not that the CEO of companies are making more and more and more, 1 million times more than they are. They don't care.
How about it, Robert? Is there angst out there?
Well, there absolutely is angst. I think this is the delusion that often the right falls into. Let's understand we have not increased the U.S. minimum wage in the last 8 years. It's still at $7.25 an hour, the federal minimum wage. Meanwhile, we have 3 separate billionaires right now building spaceships to go to the moon. We have Elon Musk, we have Jeff Bezos, and we also have Richard Branson. So that level of income inequality is not sustainable. We have an entire bottom of the economy that can't even afford simple things like rent and food and groceries and childcare. So unless we do something to ameliorate these things, we're going to end up with a split society, in which case the entire economy will fall on this house of cards.
History has not been kind to that wide gap in the meantime. But Steve, Democrats have traditionally branded as the party of the working class. Do you expect we're going to see more Bernie Sanders type characters surface if this remains an issue?
Well, I'd like to know what Barack Obama did to perpetrate and perpetuate the worst income disparity of our lifetime in history. As we're talking about years between '09 and '15. What terrible, preposterous policies did Barack Obama put in place that led to all this? I think we should study that. Now, having said that, no, look, again, I just think that if the Democrats want to run on closing this wage gap or this wealth gap, what's their solution? Raising taxes on the wealthy, blah, 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 blah. Been there, done that. As a matter of fact, they want to raise taxes on everybody. They want to undo the Trump tax cuts. It's a losing message. It's a losing angle. And let them do it. I hope they do.
Robert, political story of the month was Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez in New York in that upset primary win. Do you think we're going to see more of these Democratic socialists come forward?
Absolutely not. I think the future of the Democratic Party is to return to their roots, to return to blue dog Democrats, people who may be fiscally conservative and socially conservative, but believe in strong workers' rights, believe in a emphasis on the poor. Let's understand what the Republicans did to get the 4.1% GDP growth. They went ahead and passed a $1.5 trillion tax cut, a $1.3 trillion spending bill, and have not paid for it in any way, shape, or form. So after the midterms, they're going to come back and say, well, we have to bring down the national debt, which is currently at $21 trillion. We have to bring down the deficit, which is at $1 trillion. And the way we're going to do this is by throwing old ladies off of Medicare, taking away the social safety net, and raiding Social Security. That's their plan, because that's the only way to close the budget gap they created, by giving billionaires more tax cuts to build more spaceships to go to the moon. That is the Republican message right now. We want billionaires to have more spaceships.
I know it is torture to both of you to say, I got time for one sentence each. Steve and Robert, in that order, the numbers are what the numbers are. What do you think this will all shake out like in the midterm elections?
Well, traditionally, Trump should lose about, according to what happened to Clinton and Obama, he should lose about 40, 50 seats. Anything less is a victory.
That's one sentence. Congratulations. Robert, wrap it up.
Well, I think we're going to see what the building of a blue wave in November.
Steve Malzberg, Robert Patillo, thank you for joining us tonight.
My pleasure.
Thanks.
Hey YouTube, thanks for checking out our channel. We hope you enjoyed the video. We have tons of content for you just like this. For more of RT America's one-of-a-kind news and analysis, be sure to subscribe and never stop questioning more.